Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're back once again with another deeper dive of an all-new vehicle. And what are we diving more into? This vehicle right here. This is a 2027 Infiniti QX65 autograph trim. But before we just get behind the wheel and hit the open roads, let's talk about what's going on here. So this is all about going the further distance and showing you what is it like to live with some of these new vehicles, especially when they're unique. And the QX65 is definitely unique, being a mid-size coupe form of the Infiniti QX60, but with a lot of different changes that have been made. Of course, the big question mark is that power plant that they decided to put underneath the hood after getting rid of the V6, that variable compression turbo 4-cylinder engine. But what I want to do with this review, like I said, is let's get behind the wheel and let me show you what is it like exactly to live with this Infiniti QX65. Hop on in, let's get to it. All right, guys, we just got into this 2027 Infiniti QX65, and we're gonna find out what it's like to live with this vehicle. So right away, let's go ahead and put our foot on the brake. Start-stop button for the engine is right to the left of the shifter, and fire the vehicle up. This is what you're welcome to. Nice screen display. Don't forget, here's your key fob, good looking key fob. Like the way they updated it. And we're gonna start on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. So you have your two memory seat settings, nice and high in that wood trim. Rest of the controls, side windows, all one-touch operation, which is nice. Even the back, one-touch operation, up and down. You're able to fold in the mirrors very easily. Move the mirrors around, and then you have your lock and unlock. On the side is where you could pop the hatch. You got your hands-free driving activation button, and then you have the steering wheel. Nice leather, flat black on all the switch gear. You have cruise control, adaptive cruise, and all that on the right-hand side, and then on the left-hand side, you have the ability to scroll through different information with that thumb wheel control. You could adjust the audio, go through your music, or you could actually change what the digital display looks like. So you could make it look a little futuristic and modern. I'm more of an old school kind of person, so I like to have those gauges that are meant to be like just regular analog gauges, but it's in that nice digital display. Love the fact you bring the Google Maps over to the dash. You have your head-up display, plastic paddles to go up and down, that 9-speed automatic. This piece of gloss black here on top of the steering column is for the hands-free driving. You do have your windshield wiper stalk on the right, turn signal stalk with your lights on the left, and then this is a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel, which that little joystick is on the left of the column, left side of the column. Now down below, you have your direct drive, where you could bring up and control just about anything you need to on your infotainment system. So that's really nice, so that you don't have to touch the screen. You could also activate your cameras. The cameras on this thing are worth their weight in gold. The clarity, the 360, you could scroll through. Nice wide view. That see-through is really cool as well. So they really did a good job on that. Your two cup holders, your electric shifter for your 9-speed. You got the drive modes, the D modes. And you can see how you have an assortment of modes, including tow and off-road. The zonk is the gauges don't change depending on what mode you're in. They just stay the same. Some people like that. Some people want a little pizzazz. I love the way you could just hit that and shut off your pesky auto start stop feature. Like I said, you got the start stop button for the engine. Down below, there's storage. And then you do have your wireless charging cubby with 2 USB-Cs. Let's talk about AC controls. Nice that they're physical controls. Heated steering wheel, you get a haptic kickback, your AC blower fan, your knobs for the dual climate, 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats, and a real volume knob. So they got you covered there. Now when you go into the infotainment system, full touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, you do have massage for both the passenger and the driver up front, and you could change what type of massage that you want. Easy to activate, easy to deactivate. I like that. Go back to our main home screen. You got your Google Maps like we just showed you. You also have your Sirius XM and other audio stations. Apps, all sorts of little different things that you can look at and adjust, including watching YouTube on the screen. Not while you're driving though, you can't do it while you're driving. Then you're right back where you started. Digital rear view mirror, you have it on, or you can have it off. Whatever you prefer. And then up top, you have your controls for your power panoramic sunroof with the power shade. But nicely laid out, you have the Klipsch premium sound system in here, which is fantastic. And the seats are phenomenal. All your seat controls are gonna be if you're in the driver's seat on the left-hand side, or if you're the passenger up front on the right-hand side. But that pretty much sums it up in a nutshell. Love the fact that you have easy to get to AC vents, and they're just all manual controls. I don't need to control the vents in the screen. That's like just annoying. But let's go ahead and go for a spin. I'm gonna take that electric shifter. You're gonna push the side button and then go into reverse by pushing up. Brings up our backup camera. Always wanna look. Don't just use the cameras. Always wanna turn your head, use your physical eyeballs. And then now it switches to the front view. Steering has a nice feel, and it all comes down to what mode you're in. So I'm in sport mode, so it's gonna be a little bit of a heavier steering feel, but it gives it that extra sporty sensation. You also have paddles to go up and down the 9-speed if you choose to do so. I'm gonna start from a dead stop. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. So the 4-cylinder turbo is a little on the buzzy side. And when you are in sport mode, you're gonna get a little bit of extra sound pumped in through the sound system speakers, simulated sound. So the nice thing is you can just change the mode, but I'll be honest, after a while, it does get a little annoying, the pitch of the sound. Visibility is great. The A-pillars are pulled very far apart. And the fact that you have your infotainment system mounted in a very nice location makes it easy to use for every single day. The challenge is that there is a bit of boost lag with this 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and it is buzzy. I do wish that this vehicle had a V6. I think that would make it actually a better daily driver, to be honest with you. Even with a little bit worse fuel economy, I'd rather give up the fuel economy to have the better driving. But the good news is, even though this is a mid-size, it's very maneuverable, very easy to drive, even in high traffic situations. And it's funny because there's a QX60 in front of us. So that is this vehicle, just ours being a QX65, has the back has been nipped and cut and tucked. But you got some nice storage, especially underneath, all the connectivity, and everything is well laid out in here. And that's important when you're looking for a vehicle to daily drive. You want everything to be nicely laid out. Hit the D-mode switch, we'll put it back into auto. That's like the normal setup. And remember, the all-wheel drive is front-wheel drive based, but then it sends power to the rear wheels when slippage is about to be detected. On throttle, here we go. Whoa, cutoff time. Hey, people don't know how to drive or pay attention. You gotta love it. But anyways, the good news is you got good brakes. You do have emergency brake assist, all those things to keep you safe. there is the culprit in that QX60. He probably just wanted a closer look at this QX65. You got a nice head-up display. And just the materials. I think that's another thing you're really gonna like about this vehicle, is what they have done with the materials in here. But having everything be power assist allows you to really fine-tune the seating position, the steering position, everything exactly the way that you want it and the way that you like to have it. And even though I don't love digital gauge clusters, this one actually looks really good. I like the way it doesn't change depending on which mode you're in. I feel like that's just a little overkill. This one is simple, straightforward, and clean. And the fact that you have a head-up display is nice as well. But pulling away from the light, behind the slowest person in the world, I want to take you for a little bit more of a spin here and show you what it's like. But like I said, this being a midsize, you would think it would be a little cumbersome. It's not. It's actually not cumbersome at all. Handling is good, very predictable, very confidence inspiring. And they did a nice job in the sound deadening material. The 4-cylinder turbo, it's like I said in the full review, it's like they got rid of the CVT, but then they zonked us and gave us a 4-cylinder turbo. The V6 with this 9-speed would be gold. SUV gold. But it's a really smooth, once you get up to speed, it cruises down the road nice and smooth. Love the way the hood is shaped. It gives you good reference points when you're parking so that you don't slam the nose into something. And the side mirrors have a nice bit of mirror real estate there, which is good. Plenty of good usability in the back as well. I actually took this to Costco the other day and was able to load it up, and you got plenty of room. It's so nice not having a third row, especially for those that don't use it. If you don't use a third row, it's so pointless, and you actually get some compromised cargo space because of having a third row. But I'm hoping that this has been a good deeper dive to show you what it's like to live with this all-new 2027 Infiniti QX65. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, like I say, anytime that I have a vehicle that I feel needs to be kind of shown a little bit more because it is all new, this is one of them that I like to bring. But we got to thank everybody at Infiniti USA for allowing us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Do you kind of feel overall that you would enjoy living with this Infiniti QX65, or are you just hung up on that 4-cylinder turbo, and even if somebody gave you $1 million, you wouldn't get one of these? Let me know your thoughts down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Those family. Of course, we got to thank LGR. These what is it like to live with reviews were all her idea. So she comes up with some great ideas. A lot of times I'm stubborn because I was born in May. I'm a Taurus and I say no. But then eventually I'm able to come around. But I'm not the type of person that says it's my idea. It's all LGR's idea. So thank you, LGR, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.